Hoping that we are getting started here. We just got another minute until absolute showtime. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I see the timer going. Hi, everyone. We're going to take another probably 30 seconds until we get everyone started here. Everyone meaning me and all my personalities. So let's just take a few more moments and we'll get on with the show. Thanks for coming. All right, here we are. It is 12 o'clock on, look over this right, this opposite kind of shoulder and screen and all that really kind of messes with me every week. It is April 21st, 2020. I am your friendly neighborhood craniosacral therapist, Jennifer Pillow White with Michigan Associates of Acupuncture and Integrative Medicine. I'm happy to be able to spend a few moments of time with you again today. I hope all of you are doing well. We here at the White House are doing well as well. We're still kind of just batten down the hatches and hanging out at home. So what I want to be able to talk to you about today is talking about a particular practice that is very important to me and I share with many of my clients. And I think that's a really important thing for us to talk about a little bit, in these stressful times, and that is grounding. So grounding is so much more, when we hear the word grounding, we think of, practices that we can do to center ourselves and to calm ourselves. And it is absolutely true. And I'm going to talk a tiny bit about that at the end of today's Facebook Live. But what I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about is more about the energy aspect of it. I get the comment from my clients and my students a lot asking me of what I do, specifically craniosacral therapy, if it's energy medicine or if it's energy work. And it's not technically, it is a physiologic therapy, manual therapy. However, with that same breath, I then follow up and say, everything's energy. Everything is. A handshake is a transmission of energy. A hug, which I miss so much because I'm such a hugger, but a hug is a transmission of energy. Pretty much everything that we do, in this world is an exchange of energy. And it's so important for really all of us, but many of us who are really sensitive to it, is that we need to kind of rebalance ourselves and make sure that we are in connection with the Earth's energy, which is where we come from. We are made from the Earth. And our energetic resonance really is to be with the Earth. Now, not to get into any extreme biophysics, because that is definitely not my forte. But when we talk about the Earth itself as a planet, it is considered to be like negatively charged, and it's constantly being replenished like a battery of sets. We have the hot molten core of the Earth, and combined with solar radiation coming from the sun, coming with precipitation, as well as electrical charges that come from our sky and atmosphere, so like lightning strikes. We are constantly replenishing the charge to our Earth, which is more of a negative basis. Can't tell you the exact number. That's not my forte. All right. We being made, like stardust, like Carl Sagan always said, is that we are in essence with the Earth. But many of the practices that we do in life, especially in 2020, doesn't necessarily allow us to maintain that. And so one of the things that I'm a big fan of, and I was really excited about doing that for today's presentation, was to be outside. I even gave myself a pedicure last night to do this. And that's because I wanted to be able to do our class or do our Facebook Live out in my garden, where a lot of this magic can be, instigated. There's been a lot of great research done in the recent years. A lot of it started with the brilliant Richard Feynman, which, gosh, anyone who can really, devour his works is impressive to me. He was brilliant. Then there's also a few other researchers, Clint Ober, and the other, which was Dr. Chevalier. They did a lot of interesting research talking about testing the charge to the earth, testing our own energetic charge with like a voltage meter and seeing the difference. And then being able to do different type of practices that, are done in a laboratory setting, but then also can be done in our own life practices that would help to balance the grade. Because many times, again, our life where we're not sleeping well, we're not feeding ourselves well, we're around too much EMF, which is more of the electromagnetic field, things from voltage, power lines, microwaves, television sets, our Wi-Fi, our cell phones, all of the computers. Those things, what they do is they imbalance our energy gradient and actually rise it. And then that actually promotes a lot of disease situations in our body, including inflammation, which is the essence of many facts or pieces of our dysfunction. So what these gentlemen independently had done is they they tested the Earth's energy, got a general grounded level, which was just shortly underneath zero, and tested ours, and then did things like grounding or earthing, is which I'm going to talk about in a few moments. Earthing, or using grounding mats, or being able to expose ourselves to negative ions and such. Those kind of things dramatically were able to bring our voltage down to be more in line with the Earth's energy. And so not only did they create this kind of balancing effect, they also got the subjective opinions from the individuals on how they were feeling. And what these individuals were feeling was, and they didn't understand what was really being tested, of course, on the voltage level, but they were being asked, how are you feeling? And people were noticing feeling a little bit calmer. People were feeling a little bit more peaceful. They were noticing less pain. If they were doing this in regards to sleep testing, they were noticing that they were sleeping deeper. And so they kind of went further and further looking into this process of how we electrically ground ourselves. Just like the grounding circuit, when we have those 3-prong plugs that we put into the walls, that third prong is a grounding line, which grounds us to the earth, or like the grounding poles that we have outside our house. Okay. So let's talk quickly about my favorite part of all of these things that I'm going to present today, and that is earthing. When we first started off as human, we walked barefoot. We walked, if we didn't walk barefoot, we used animal skins as shoes. We made our own, fashioned our own shoes. We slept outside, obviously. We slept on the ground, or we slept on animal skins. All of those will allow transference of energy through that, all right? Naturally, there's no insulation. They help conduct that energy through. Well, now in more modern times, we wear shoes, all right? And not only do we wear shoes, we wear synthetic material as our soles. And, commonly rubber or, other types of material. And you not only have that, but then you have other insulating layers above it to create a sturdy shoe that does not allow any conduction between energy of you and the earth. Plus, we, in our homes, before, we love, like I have wood floors in my home. I'm grateful for them. They don't conduct energy. Concrete doesn't conduct energy. Lots of different insulators in our home do not conduct energy. We also don't spend enough time outside, all right? And that's where this goes. My favorite way of trying to connect with Mother Earth's energy is to take my shoes off and to go outside. I'm an avid gardener, and I am very, very a big barefoot fan. And so what I will do whenever it's possible is I go barefoot in my home, and especially outside. I love the feel of the grass on my feet. I love the feel of the dirt on my toes. Yeah, I'm sorry if you got a germaphobe scenario, but what it not only does is it creates a connection to the earth, and I feel instantly calmer. And I garden without gloves. I'm not saying that you have to, but that's what I do. Partially because as a manual therapist, I have very strong sensation in my fingers and I want to feel what I'm doing. And many times when I'm out there teasing away weeds, teasing away roots, teasing whatever away, I want to feel it. And gloves don't give me that tactile sensation. Plus, getting that dirt stimulates and connects me to the earth. And so there's strong benefits to that. Plus, on a totally different Facebook Live piece that I'll talk about in the future, is talking about the connection with the earth and the dirt in regards to stimulating your immunity, as well as having an essential fatty acid connection to that too. So that's another bonus, but for another day. So definitely the premise of earthing is to be barefoot, to be skin to skin to the earth. Go outside, not today because it's sleeted and hailed outside today, but go outside, take your shoes off, walk through the grass. Go lay down with your children on these days when it's more mild and lay on the grass and look up at the sky and watch the clouds go by and see if you can see any cloud animals or what shapes you see in the sky. Connect with the earth. People feel more grounded. Another thing you could go do is go take a book outside, lay in the grass and read, or go lay against a tree. Now, wood is not a conductor of energy, but there's moisture in the air, and that moisture allows for conduction. So go lean up against a tree and read a book, grounding yourself. Feels so good. Best way to do it. Doesn't cost any money to do it. Another option you can do, which does cost a little money, but it's reasonable, is to get a grounding mat. I have a mat on my bed that's about the half size of my bed. I have it along the foot of my bed, and it is a mat that has some silver fibers kind of woven through it. And it is then plugged into my wall, but there's no plug for the voltage. It's only the ground. It's only the grounding prong. And so that mat has got grounded energy. All right. And then I put it on my bottom fitted sheet. And then I have my top fitted top sheet and then my blankets over top. And when I go climb into bed, my feet are touching the mat, skin to skin, no socks. And you do this and what you're doing is overnight, you're grounding yourself. And with a lot of the research that Clint Ober had done with his work, which is through this book that I got from one of my dearest clients in the whole wide world, Karen. A lot of his work in here talked about people who use the grounding mats or the grounding sheets in their bed, and they noticed significant improvement in their sleep. They slept sounder, they slept longer, and they woke up more refreshed. And I am a big proponent of that. I think that really made a huge difference for me. So that's another one that we can do. You can also get grounding mats that you can put at your desk, so you take your shoes off and you put your feet on the mat. That can be really helpful. I don't have any of those. Big fan. Other things that you can do in regards to negative ions or energy are a little bit of a more simple measure. And like here, I have my salt lamp. And I don't think there's any research on it per se, but what it is it's a big chunk of Himalayan salt. It's got a light source inside of it. Can't see it much right now, and the light warms the salt and it gives off negative ions, which smells really, really good. It smells like the smell when you go outside right after it rains. That smell is just absolutely delicious. Or when you go to the beach and the waves are kicking up, that's negative ions you're smelling. It smells so good. And it is so calming. And so I'm a big fan of that. When it's warmer and more mild, then my gosh, it's snowing again. When it's warmer outside, I try to get out there during rain, if of course it's safe, and try to enjoy that negative ion surge that comes with that. So big fan. Let's see here. A couple of the things I wanted to mention, which were more on the the calming and the centering piece that I kind of mentioned earlier, extremely beneficial. And again, I'm sure has some piece to play with this negative earth energy that I mentioned earlier. And by negative, I mean good. All right, it's just more about plus and minus, polarization, right? Another couple things that you can do would be where you do meditation. All right, meditation's a really helpful thing in regards to calming ourselves and getting us present. All right, I'm a big fan of the Headspace app that you can get through your phone. They have connections through Facebook. We've posted a few links to their site on our page. I love it. They give you lots of different verbal and meditations that guide you through. They usually only take 5 to 10 minutes. It's a great way to bring yourself more centered and present. Another way is something that I learned when I was in massage school eons ago, and that is I will vision myself with the soles of my feet pressed into the ground. And through the soles of my feet, I envision tree roots growing. And then they grow, and then they spread, and then they go deeper, and they go more lateral, and then they go more deeper, and they go more lateral. And I just envision myself completely anchoring into the earth via these roots. And I swear, more times than not, when I have done this practice, I feel like a semi-truck couldn't knock me over. And so that is a very common type of visualization many of us will do, especially if we feel a little wavered. We're in at moments we're feeling that centered. And then the last one I would like to mention is another one working with your 5 senses. If you're feeling you're a little discombobulated, you're not present, you're not centered, definitely not calm, start going through your different senses in this moment in time. What are you sensing? Well, okay, right now I'm seeing that the light in my room is very muted and, kind of cloudy or overcast. I smell this morning's, this afternoon's lunch that my husband just made. I hear the clicking of the clock. What do I taste? Oh, I taste a little bit of my morning coffee. I didn't brush my teeth there. And what do I feel? I feel the security of sitting in my chair, feeling completely stable. And as I go into all those 5 senses, as I'm going through them one by one, I'm feeling more inside myself. That feels good. And there are many times, again, in this day right now, where we're going through so many crazy things. There's so much crazy stuff going on the media. There's so many things that are happening within our family and our extended family, extended friends, that it is so hard not to be pulled. But we will do much greater good if we can be here and be present, be centered, be connected with the earth. We will get through this, all of us. We will get through this together. But greater good will come through us being present. I promise you that. So, with that said, I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. I hope you are happy and peaceful and centered. I miss you immensely. We all here at Michigan Associates of Acupuncture and Integrative Medicine miss you immensely. And we can't wait to be able to see you again soon. So just as a reminder, we do have our telehealth. If you are interested in reaching out to us to talk, connect, to get some type of feedback that many of us can offer, please don't hesitate to call us at the office. Our telephone number, as always, is 248-737-7126. Our phones are answered every Monday through Friday. And, we're here. We would love to hear your voice. And don't be surprised if we call just because we miss you and we want to just check in and see how you're doing. So if there's anything else we can do for you, don't hesitate. Otherwise, we will see each other again really, really soon. You be marvelous. You be healthy. You be great.